All right, hey guys, what's up? Scott here, and today's video and tip is going to be a continuation of features and things available to help you with compliance. Kind of a continuation of questions and things related to the more recent CCPA, the California Consumer Privacy Act, but a couple of them you may or may not already know about. But if you don't, I wanted to just shed some light on some of the things that you can do now to honor the requests of consumers if they reach out to you and request that you not sell their information, or request to find out what you've done with their information. So first things first, the first change that was made recently in ListFlex was the ability to import leads and automatically have them be marked do not sell. And here's what that looks like. So inside of every vendor, you have the ability to view all of the APIs for the lists. Okay, so here's all the information, it's standard. But when you choose to download API documentation for any list, at the very bottom, there's now a small blurb, and that blurb looks like this. And it says, a little bit of information about the CCPA. But the most important part of this is that if you add this extension, no export equals 1, at the end of your standard APIs, you have the ability to bring that record in and ensure that it never gets sold or sent anywhere. Now, this is important for the advertisers, the guys that own offers, that are presenting that checkbox when the consumer's on their offer. Prior to them submitting, they have the ability to choose in real time when they're filling out the form whether or not they want their information to be sold. If the, obviously if they check that box, the API would carry through that one, just like I showed you there in the document, and you would have the ability to, in an automated way, collect information on, on your leads, but not sell the lead, it's for, per the consumer's request. In addition to that, under the search records column, let's say email, for example. If a consumer reaches out and requests that their information not be sold at any point in time, or they reach out and wish to be deleted, or they reach out and would like more information about what has happened with their information, all that you have to do is simply search for them. And in this case, when you search for a consumer, you're going to have access to every single opt-in that they've created, or every time they've come into your system, what list it came in, who it came in from, when it was imported, and the information that you've collected on them. But what's really important here is kind of this section right here. If you click on the lead ID, which I'm going to in a second, it's going to give you a breakdown of the some of the newer features that will help you be compliant. And then right here is an example of Flex ID. And for those of you that use Flex ID, you know that it'll screenshot and capture the consumer, when they're filling out your form and each step that they take on your form, and what does that look like. But if, for example, they just filled this form out and they would like their information to be removed, you can click on the ID of the lead. You can see what information you've captured. Over here, it tells you the transaction history. Now, sent to, these are the vendor names in your system. So when you create vendors, it's important that you use real information. But this little box right here, more options. You've got 3 options now. You can mark them as do not sell and make some notes. Pretty straightforward. You have the ability to pull a report, and you have the ability to delete the lead. I'll start with delete the lead. If you delete this lead, it's gone forever, and there's no retracting it. This is a, once you've deleted it, it's deleted, it's gone, it's officially, toast. The data collection report, going back to the CCPA specifically, in compliance with providing the consumer with a downloadable version of what's happened with their information. This will clearly spell out what you've collected on them and what information you've sent, and to who you've sent it to, and who you've sent it to. So you would be able to simply just click that lead ID and provide them that report. So Those items are a really easy way for you to make sure that you can honor any consumer requests and stay compliant. Now, the next question is, if I delete a lead or I mark it as do not sell, does it affect any other leads related to that email address? And the answer is no. It's advised that you would individually go and make the change to other leads that have come into your system that match, but changing one does not update or change other leads that would have either the same phone or the same email or the same address. So that's that. As far as staying compliant, it's important that you guys have access to this. If you're not already using it, it's a great way to honor the consumer's requests. Under settings, obviously, there's the master suppression file where you can manually copy and paste phones or emails, of consumers that you want to make sure never are remarketed to for any reason. But outside of that, when you're importing leads, you now have the ability to denote that they are not able to be sold using that API download that I showed you. And then if you search a record where a consumer has a request, it's easy for you to fulfill that. So with that, if you have any questions, guys, just reach out to our team and we're happy to help. Thanks.